Good evening, everybody. Welcome, early crew. If you're just catching this video right now, skip ahead to the 5-minute mark. We're going to get right into the content there. I'm talking about the replay, of course. And if you are in the live chat, stop by and say hello in the live chat. We'll talk for 5 minutes before we get right into the topic tonight. I got a fun one lined up here. It's going to be great. You guys are going to be very entertained. It's not going to be as good as the spicy challenge good in a different sense. It's not going to be as entertaining as what am I saying? Everything I'm saying is like the opposite of what I'm trying to say here. It's not going to be as animated as the live chat, but I'm going to do my best to keep the energy up. We're going to talk about pizza reviews and specifically some of the local ones Barstool Sports here did, and I'll get into all that, and we'll talk about food reviews in general and just have a good time here. This is our usual, Thursday night hang. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate that. That's not just HR language. I really do appreciate you spending the time here. I'll talk a little bit about what the purpose of these live streams are, other than to, hang out with you guys. That'll be another kind of small topic for tonight, but lots of cool things lined up here. I'm really trying my best to put together something that I think you guys are going to enjoy. So let's see who we got here. Early crew in the house. I like starting it off with this little kickoff ahead of time because it gives me, first of all, a few minutes to make sure my mic's working and everything, and also interact with you guys who like to come here early so that you're here when we start up the content. That's kind of the whole thing. I've been on YouTube live streams where I'll join like 2 or 3 minutes late, and by then the person already gave the intro and already kind of went over what they were doing, and it's one of those things that to me I like to get that intro so I know I like the beginning of the story. But I'm going to try to do these in segments as well, so that if you are not, not here at the very beginning, it kind of makes some sense to you. So again, if you're in the live chat, also hit the thumbs up. That's going to help this get out to more people. I think given that it's about Barstool Sports, we might get some new viewers. That was kind of the point of using that as a tent pole. So let's see what happens here. Let's see if we got anyone in the chat. I also put a poll in the chat. I have the ability to do that. So we're going to talk about numerical food reviews. Tell me if that's something that you would use. Tell me if the Barstool review format works for you. Hit a yes or no in that. That will help me as well. Everybody's shy in the chat. Got some action figures to open up after we talk about pizza. Going to make that a weekly segment here so that I get through opening these action figures. I have literally, I think I counted like 25 action figures that I have to open. So week after week, we will do that. Again, if you're just joining, I see the numbers is rising. If you're coming in, vote on the poll that's in the live chat and also hit thumbs up on the video. That's going to help this get out to more people. The goal here is to improve the reach. And, if you know a friend that you think would like food and would like to stream, invite them to come in, share the links. I am going to stop sharing to Facebook and Twitter all my live links because they're not pushing them out. And again, if you're just joining, I'm going to get right into it at 7:30 on the nose. This way it gives everybody a chance to get in here. And we'll talk about this. It's been a hot topic in the house here. I've been talking Cassie's ear off about it. So I think you guys are going to enjoy my take on this whole thing. Let's see here. Blowing out my voice already. So we got people voting on the poll, which is awesome. Some people like the reviews numerically. Well, we got 2 votes. It's all right. Got to start somewhere, Here we go. Welcome to derryX Live. Tonight we are going to talk about pizza reviews. Specifically, Barstool Sports was in my area and he did about a dozen pizza reviews. What I want to talk about, I have a whole bunch of notes about what I want to talk about tonight, specific to those reviews, and we're going to get right into it. So if you're not aware, there's this company. I'm going to pull up my notes here so that, because I did structure this out the way I want it to be. There's this company called Barstool Sports. They are one of the most controversial news outlets for sports that there are on the internet right now. We'll get into a little bit about his name is Dave Portnoy. There's a lot of controversy with him in the way he handles talent with his company. Not a good person by any means. I'm not throwing shade. This is all stuff based on. This is my opinion based on everything I see on the internet. I think he'll even tell you that he's not a nice person. So number one, you got to kind of take that as the first data point here, as far as where I'm coming from on their reviews. I know a lot of people have reached out to me and even asked me like why I would even bother covering this. And there's a specific reason. Number one, we're doing some food reviews on the channel here. So it's pertinent to the content. These are local restaurants. And in fact, I actually know the owner of one of the restaurants that he rated. And I want to talk specifically about that review in a little bit. And also, it's important for me to have my finger on the pulse for local media coverage because, that's going to help me kind of tailor my content to, you grow the channel. That's the whole point here. So this guy, Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports, does these one bite pizza reviews. And if you've seen them, you're probably getting them in your recommendations on YouTube, or people are sharing them on other media. He basically, every episode is the same. They're like 2 to 3 minutes usually. And he walks into the place. He goes in, every episode starts with him walking out of the place. He has a slice of pizza in hand, or sometimes a whole pizza, and he gives kind of a preamble, is usually plugging something else. And mind you, I hadn't seen any of this guy's reviews until last month. So this guy's doing his thing, and he does what's called a one-bite pizza review. Now, he almost never just takes one bite. It kind of frustrates me is that he calls it a one-bite pizza review, but he always takes a bite of the front of the pizza and also the crust of the pizza. So he does that, and then he'll waffle around for a couple seconds, and he'll say, he'll spit out a score. Completely arbitrary, and doesn't give you any information about the actual food. You kind of have to read between the lines and what he says as far as what the score is versus how the pizza looks on the camera. And I think he's shooting these things on iPhones, so they're not really anything that I think is particularly useful. So that's my first kind of beef with it, is that, he's spitting out these ratings, and, I have a poll in the live chat right now. If you can go ahead and vote on that, let me know if numerical ratings are something that you like in a food review, because it's not really something that I do in mine, but it might be something that we incorporate later on because, if people like it, then obviously it's something that we're going to want to incorporate, because the whole point here is to create content that you guys like. So that's kind of my first beef, is he spits out these numbers and really doesn't go into the science as far as how he's rating it. In general, I feel like numerical reviews are kind of problematic, and here's why. If the purpose of a review is to inform a customer as far as what the experience is, one grade is really not going to tell them everything. Unless it's something where you are very discreet about the fact that, okay, I'm just going to tell you about how crispy it is, or, how cheesy it is, or something like that. If I tell you, okay, my rating of this is, 8 out of 10, right? That is not enough information for you to know whether or not that is something that you like. Maybe you like soggy pizza. Maybe you like fried rice that doesn't have, pork in it, or doesn't have the flecks of egg in it. If you go to Chinese takeout or something like that. So for me, what's the point in the number? If it's, not going to do anything. And I'm going to go into the actual numbers that he rated these places, because that's an interesting thing as well. But I first want to talk about kind of my history with pizza in the capital region. And now we're going to go back a little bit to the blog days. And this is something that we like to do here on the channel. A couple times we had Metal Frog, who built my website. And, during that time, we grew to a point where the local media outlets were, I was, talking to them, and I was a judge for the All Over Albany Tournament of Pizza. I think I served as a judge between 2011 and 2013, if I have my dates correct. So we're going back a decade here. I'm talking fast, so I'm starting to lose my voice already. You guys gotta tell me to slow down in the live chat if I'm going too fast. So the Tournament of Pizza was kind of a fun thing. All Over Albany was a site that they used to go all out for this Tournament of Pizza. What they would do is a bracket tournament every year, and they would order kind of similar pizzas at each place every week, and the judges would get together and taste 4 pizzas every week. It was a lot of fun working with All Over Albany doing that. And it's funny now, actually, Cassie works with one of the creators of All Over Albany for her profession, which is kind of cool, kind of little side note there. But it was a lot of fun on that perspective. The judging part of it was a little bit frustrating because, and I can talk about this now. The people that they had as judges were foodie type people who really didn't have any background in restaurant. One person was like this Yelp god person, and another person was just another blogger. And I'm not saying that these people had no credibility, because obviously the whole point of picking the judges they picked were to tap into those fan bases. But a lot of times the politics of the scoring got a little weird. And this is where this is one of the reasons why I actually stopped doing it in 2013 and stepped aside, so that another local guy I follow, who actually knows a lot about pizza, very well studied, was able to get a spot on the judging as well. So it used to be, I think before I got there, the judging was a little bit more of a democratic process, where they would actually like allow the judges to talk to each other and sway each other's votes. And I remember the first year that I went in, I had actually rated my pizza. And I remember one of the judges actually looking over my shoulder, and he rated it exactly opposite of mine. And it's like, how can two people have two vastly different ratings of the same exact pizza? So anyway, I digress. Let's go take this back to how numerical reviews are problematic, and how I think these one bite pizza reviews are kind of BS. Let's just say they're BS. We have in the live chat my brother Dom saying it's not scientific, so why add a number? Exactly. So that's what I'm saying is, the number really doesn't do anything to help anybody. So we talked about how the purpose of a review should be to inform a customer of what they're getting. And one of the things that I didn't like about the way the judges did their thing in the All Over Albany Tournament of Pizza is that they were basically just as arbitrary as Dave Portnoy from One Bite Pizza Reviews, Barstool Sports. And you kind of have to watch these reviews in order to kind of get what I'm talking about in his process. He literally takes a bite, usually complains about how he burns his mouth, to which, if you're burning your mouth, how could you even trust the person? And again, I'm not throwing shade here. The guy obviously is successful, so, he's doing something right. A lot more than I'm doing as far as all this stuff. So let's talk about the actual numbers. Okay. First place he went to is a place called Mamma Mia in Saratoga. Now, first of all, he went in the heart of track season in Saratoga. If you know anything about this area, so in the upstate New York area, for anybody outside of the area here, Saratoga is basically a town that is all tourists in the summer, and then all locals in the winter. Okay. So it's easy to fathom that the pizza is not going to be the best during that time, right? I believe as somebody who reviews food that like whatever they give you is basically what you have to rate off of. So I get where he's coming from on that. Okay, so Mamma Mia Saratoga, which I think most people in Saratoga will tell you is one of the better pizzerias, 7.4. Okay. That's the Barstool Sports rating of Mamma Mia. Paddock Pizzeria Saratoga, which is inside of the Saratoga track, 4.1. Okay. I think from a scientific standpoint, if we're going to talk about the science of giving a review, I mean, yeah, the pizza at the food service stand inside of the track is going to be garbage. Okay, so let's not, you know, um, let's not pretend that it was going to be like, New York City, Mulberry Street, Little Italy pizza, okay, or Brooklyn or wherever your favorite pizzeria is. West Avenue Pizzeria 7.3. And we're gonna circle back to that specific review because that I actually know the owner Mario of that restaurant. I know him personally. DeAndrea Saratoga 7.2. So you could see the trend here. You get these places that are not obviously gimmick track pizza getting 7.2, 7.4, 7.3. Pizza Time Wilton 6.8. Biscosi's Pizza Time Boston Spa 6.9. Now, the funny thing about those two reviews, and I don't want you guys to watch all these because it's kind of a waste of time. But the funny thing about those two reviews is the review of Biscosi's Pizza Time Boston Spa is actually he spends most of the time talking about how it's the same restaurant as Pizza Time Wilton and how the owner of the second place basically said they have no affiliation. However, he decided to score them the same. The pizza actually looks quite different in those videos. So again, we're talking somebody who's not really putting a lot into the rating. Napoli Malta 7.5. Okay, so now we're back in the sevens. Paisan's Pizza Latham 7.5. Paisan's has some history with this guy. We'll get back to that one in a second too. DeFazio's Troy 8.2. Now here is where I have the issue, and these are all sequential. So I went through and actually found the ratings of each of these so that I can talk about them specifically. We're going to get back to DeFazio's. It was in the thumbnail. That's where I think this is the most problematic. So we'll talk about that in a second. Flatbread Social Saratoga 6.9. This was actually a Neapolitan pizza. So obviously he likes New York style pizza over Neapolitan based on the ratings. Max London Saratoga 7.4. Max London is not a pizza restaurant by any means. It's basically a really nice. It's one of the nicer kind of American restaurants in Saratoga. And there's one more, and we'll get back to that one at the very, very end of this. So I noticed we got 7 people in the chat here. If you are here, say hello. What I'm going to do is after I talk about a couple of these in a little bit more specifics, we'll do some shout outs, guys. That's kind of how we'll do this. So let's go back to West Avenue Pizzeria. Now, this is the first one that I saw in the area. And the reason why I saw it is because I follow Mario on Instagram. His handle is Official Pizza Boy. I think it's that. I'll leave a link to it. He's a nice guy. And I got to know him at the local pizzeria here, Prima. Before I was doing food reviews, I would actually have Prima Pizza in a lot of my vlog style videos. So if you've been around for a while and you've seen the videos, Mario's Pizza has been featured. And every year for Noah's birthday, we would get pizza from Prima, and Mario even delivered it to our house. So we know Mario quite well. So Mario recently opened West Avenue Pizza in Saratoga. So I didn't know that when I saw this review. And if you watch the review, you'll see him come out of the place. He has a box of pizza. He talks about something about his shirt. People were complaining about his shirt and his pants. The review is more about him than anything, but he harps on the fact that the guy who owns the place worked his entire life to open the pizzeria, which I'm sure is true. I know Mario. I know he's been working with the folks who own Prima. They also own another restaurant here called Mario's. I think they at some point had a wood-fired pizza place. So Mario gets one of these reviews, and he wasn't very kind. I think that, obviously the guy is a jerk, but he wasn't. The 7.3 rating that he gave it. He called it football pizza, which, okay, I get what you're going for there, is that it's not like your fancy pizza. And he also, like, he actually says that it's not great, and he's not going to give a low score to somebody who worked their entire life to open a pizzeria. And at that point, what's the point of the number? I mean, you came straight out and actually said that you're not going to give it a low number because of the fact that the person worked their entire life to do it. Now, I'm not saying to give the guy a low number. I'm just saying the numbers aren't really anything useful. I don't get anything from your review that makes me want to try that pizza, or even gives me enough information to make that decision. Now this is getting a little critical of West Avenue Pizzeria and Mario. The pie they gave him looked very underbaked. So I can understand why he would give it what I think is a low rating. But I mean, it's what he had in front of him, right? I also know the power was out that day in Saratoga on that block. So this poor guy got rated by one of the biggest pizza places, biggest pizza reviewers on YouTube and other social media, TikTok and everything. In fact, my brother told me that my brother couldn't believe that I knew about the guy, because like every third video is him on his suggestions on TikTok. So anyway, this poor guy gets what I think is a bad review, and I got to take a sip of water. I'm losing my voice because I'm rambling. And, it's not a useful review. It just isn't. Let's move down the list here. So I talked about the Pizza Time and Biscosi's Pizza Time, and that's kind of, there's really not much to talk about there, because all he does is talk about the actual, like, name of the place, and he even shows the logo. He's like, oh, look, the logo is the same. It's not. I mean, it's kind of similar, but every pizzeria uses a logo with a weird, like, cartoony chef. All right. Paisan's Pizza Latham. Now, this is one of the longer reviews of the 11 or 12 that he did in the area in the last month. Paisan's Pizza Latham became internet famous last year because of a review of a frozen pizza that Dave Portnoy did. Now, this was it was big at the beginning of the 2020 health situation that we have been dealing with. Apparently, the people from Paisan's Pizza decided to go into the frozen pizza business, and they decided to send him frozen pizzas. And the story is that, like, the UPS guy or the FedEx guy just left it, and they spoiled or whatever it was. I don't know what the whole story is there, but it was, I think it was even on the Today Show or something. Paisan's Latham, which he went back to this year actually in person to actually eat at, printed on their menu as rated in Barstool Sports. Now, that is another thing that I find kind of problematic. And I don't really understand, if you're getting a rating that is middle of the road, what exactly that does for your business if you're going to print it on your menu with somebody else's branding. For me, I feel like, I would be flattered if somebody, posted my review, in their restaurant. I've seen restaurants that have had my blog posts, posted in there. But, like, to put it on their menu, I just think that's a little strange. The review of Paisan's Latham this time, so he did the review, and I think he does a lot to try to make it a little bit entertaining, which you have to do. I get it. If you see my video tomorrow, you'll understand. But he gets the pizza, he goes outside, he eats it, And apparently the people who worked there called the guy who sent them the frozen pizzas to come, and the guy sped down there, and he gets to talk to the guy at the very end. I think the guy gave him hoodies and shirts and everything like that. And he walks away and he gives this place a 7.5. Okay. Now that's fine. Whatever it is, it's all good. But and I think that having the exposure is great for the restaurant. And that's kind of, why I even started doing my reviews on YouTube as well, because, you can get a lot of reach on YouTube, even from people outside of the area. I can tell you what actually prompted me to make a live about this topic. One of the live supporters, my friend Greg from high school, sent me a message asking me specifically about the DeFazio's review that Dave Portnoy did for One Bite Pizza Reviews. So let's talk about the DeFazio's review, because that's kind of, I'm going to call that the elephant in the room. And I have some pictures that I can actually show you of DeFazio's pizza, so that if you don't know what it is, we're going to talk about what it is. We're going to talk about his review, and we're going to talk about why I think the review in general was problematic, as well as some of the other things that were said in the video. So for that, it's show and tell time. How do I put this on the screen? Whoops. There we go. So I have on the screen here I don't want it like that. I want it like, no, not like that. Like that. This is my blog post from the All Over Albany Tournament of Pizza 2014, which I actually didn't serve as a judge for, but actually they had tickets. It was at some event. And I just decided to, for fun, score it with my own kind of eye for it. So this is actually a really fun blog post. If you actually Google, my derryX and then Tournament of Pizza 2014, I would give this a read. I read through it, and I can't believe I wrote this. It's actually really funny. So this is what a DeFazio's pizza looks like. I'm going to pause there for a second so that you guys can kind of take that in. And you can see what it looks like. I guess I'm going to want to make that a little bigger, aren't I? Let's see here. That's smaller. That's big. Okay. And I will share. Sorry, guys. I should have prepared a little better for that, but this is worth it. So this is a DeFazio's veggie pie. Okay. Notice there's kind of a little burnishedness. I'm not going to say burnt, because that's not the right word for it. We got a comment from Leslie that actually it's kind of a perfect comment. We're going to get back to that in a second too, because that's one of the things that was said in the video that I think we need to talk about. So this is a DeFazio's pizza. DeFazio's is a legendary restaurant in Troy. I think they make excellent pizza. What they do for their pizza, it's not just a New York pizza that they toss into a brick oven. They actually have a wood-fired oven that they use to make their pizza. If you watch Dave Portnoy's video, and this is one of the longer ones, I think it might be 11 minutes or 9 minutes. Either way, go ahead and watch that. You get to hear some comments from the owner, Rocco, and I think his son as well. And Rocco talks about, their main crust and kind of what they did. And this was a little bit, he says that the crust it's not pizza crust, it's bread. And that's where I kind of say, okay, pizza crust is basically bread. It's just a couple of different steps. So he says it's more of a bread dough that they do in the wood-fired oven. So what I would say that this is a slightly thicker New York style pizza that's cooked in a wood oven, right? And you can see in the bottom left-hand corner of the pizza, that's kind of the character it takes on. Some people call it leopard spots. When we were in this tournament of pizza judging, people had a lot of different things to say about how they would classify that. And it was people overthinking, so it is what it is. In the middle of the pizza, the thing about this is it's not a crisp pizza. Okay. So it's very chewy. It's very dense. And, their pizzas are also not cheap. So a veggie pizza like this, I think right now runs mid $25 to $35 Okay. I think all their pizzas with toppings for the large is that price. I think for small, it's around $20. That's not cheap. Okay. The other thing about DeFazio's pizza is that it's great. We ordered DeFazio's, I think back in June, the last time we ordered. We ordered at 2 o'clock for a 4:30 pickup, and that was fine. If you don't think ahead like that, you're not going to get a pizza. And I can tell you that one of my coworkers has had issues where she's placed orders for pizzas and they canceled it because they only have one wood oven to do the pizzas. So if anybody doesn't need extra, busyness because of the review, it's DeFazio's. In other news, DeFazio's actually opened up a location in downtown Albany now, which now we're getting into a little bit of advertising, but they're located kind of in Albany, next to a brewery. So there's other opportunities to get DeFazio's pizza, but throughput has always been an issue at DeFazio's, and they've only gotten more popular throughout the years, because the people around here, that this is a special pizza. The fact that the other pizzas rated in the low sevens, between 7.2, 7.1, 6.9, 7.5, that should tell you that, the fact that DeFazio's got an 8.2, it's something special. However, in the review, and this is one of the things where, I think a review has to kind of be fair. There's a point in the review where he's eating the pizza and the man's son comes out with some special cake that they made. I don't remember the whole details of the cake because I was at the time when I was watching it. I only watched it once. I'm not going to watch these more than one time. I was a little bit complaining to Cassie about, okay, of course he gave a good review. They gave him free stuff, So he gives DeFazio's pizza an 8.2. Do I disagree with the rating? No, I don't. I think that DeFazio's is a B pizza. I think that for what it is, it's expensive. I think that should go into a rating as well. I think that it tastes great. Is it the best pizza around? I would argue no. I think that this was a point of contention during the Tournament of Pizza. For a couple of years, it came down to DeFazio's and Marissa's Pizza, which is right near my work. And I always felt like Marissa's had a better pizza because the guy's from Brooklyn. I mean, I would go in there and talk to the guy, and he knows what he's doing. DeFazio's knows what they're doing. They have their fan base, their customers love their stuff. It's just not the way I like pizza. For me, I don't really love that Neapolitan style pizza, with the darker crust and all that stuff. People love it. I'm not knocking your choice. If that's what you like, that's what you like. People, I think it's a lot of a novelty. Not only does DeFazio's have this pizza with this burnt-ish crust, they also have like a beer crust. They have like a multi-grain crust. So it's kind of more of a hip pizza restaurant, nothing wrong with that. So the 8.2, it's an outlier, right? This guy, Dave Portnoy, he scores these pizzas, and we'll run down the list again. We got a 7.4, a 4.1, a 7.3, a 7.2, 6.8, 6.9, 7.5, 7.5, 8.2, 6.9, 7.4. And it is what it is. I don't disagree that DeFazio's, out of all of those places, I mean, I haven't tried a lot of the places in Saratoga, but it is outstanding as far as like what you get, but it's not. I don't think only the one bite of the pizza went into that rating. I think a lot of it went down to how he was treated while he was there, and it is what it is. But the real problem, and this is kind of going to be the icing on top of the pizza review, and we'll go into the other content that I have planned here, but I do want to talk about this specific point, and I'm going to take a sip because this is a big one. So that was 11 different scores that I just told you about that were all in my area. Okay. Within this past week, he rated another pizza, and it is his one bite review frozen pizza. Okay. In his review, he talks about how he's not going to give it a number. In his book, it's a perfect 10. And, he's not going to be the one to rate it. So he says he claims he went onto the street, found what I think is probably the most attractive woman he could find, and had her give the rating. In the live chat, I want you to tell me what you think her rating of the pizza was if you didn't see it. And I'll wait for a second, because it's kind of appalling that this is what these big content companies are doing. Because it's not right. It's just not right. Let's see what we got here. Good votes in the numerical vote poll. That's awesome. Thank you. All right, I've left you in suspense long enough. The rating that this model gave to the pizza that he claims that he picked off of the street, which actually is probably a joke in itself, because, yeah, I'm not going to go there. She gave it a 9.8, and that is the rating that they claimed at the end of the video. They put a graphic up. So, Capital Region pizzas. 7.4, 4.1, 7.3, 7.2, 6.8, skipping ahead, 8.2 is the highest, and a frozen pizza gets a 9.8. What purpose? So if you spent the 2 to 8 minutes watching these reviews for all those, what are the purpose of the review if the best pizza that you can get is their frozen pizza? How does that help local restaurants? Answer that. I don't get it. I don't understand why people get excited when he reviews the places. I mean, I understand it media coverage in the area is definitely a big thing. Anytime somebody gets food coverage, if Man versus Food comes, it's a big thing. I went to a place that they were trying to get Man versus Food to do a food challenge, Wagon Train Barbecue, 9 or 10 years ago, and it's a big thing. It's it's just, I don't see the point in the rating system if their frozen pizza is going to be amazing. Now, do I think frozen pizza is a bad thing? No, I'm not going to tell you that, because this is food that's engineered to be good. Okay. Are all frozen pizzas good? No, it's not. It's kind of, I don't really get it, So I got a couple comments here I want to respond to on that. I like Leslie's comment here. If she's a model, she probably doesn't eat anything as fattening as pizza. And I get that too. But at the same time, if he's saying it's a 10 and she's saying it's 9.8, where does that leave the other things, including this DeFazio's pizza that everybody up here is going to tell you is the best pizza? It's not, there's no alignment there. And she also said once someone gets known for food reviews, they stop putting in the effort. I don't think that's true either, because I've been watching this guy Dame Drops. I'm sure you've probably seen it too. I meant to get rid of that ticker at the bottom. I need a moderator for this thing. Dame Drops, I think, was working harder than anybody. He's posting 3 reviews a week, and he's on Instagram kind of when he's at the places and stuff. So I think that these particular one bite pizza reviews, I think that he probably stopped putting in the effort a long time ago. I think I think it's one of those things where he probably just said, it's really easy for me to grab a quick pizza and do this review. We'll spit out a number, and that's what the content is going to be. It's very formulaic for the most part. Very formulaic. And I'm not throwing shade. The guy obviously is very successful. I should take this off the screen. The guy's very successful. He's doing his thing. He's big media company, very controversial, kind of evil people behind that. And it is what it is. So that's kind of my whole rant about the recent local pizza reviews done by Barstool Pizza Reviews. And we could talk about it more as we do the next segment here. But if you haven't already, hit like on the video. It's going to help me out here to get out to more people. I want to talk a little bit about why I'm doing the live streams while we got more people. The whole point of the live streams is not really to follow the same kind of content that we're doing as the produced videos. I want the live streams to be kind of interacting and for the community. So the whole point, my friend Greg sent me a message about the Barstool pizza review of DeFazio's, and I thought that would be a good topic to discuss. So, that's kind of that part of it. The point of the channel is to grow the community, right? So subscribers is part of that, and live streams. This gives me a chance to one-on-one interact with you guys, and it's awesome. I think it's great to be able to put the comments on the screen and talk to you guys, people who come back. Leslie, you've been a supporter for a long time. I just want you to know I appreciate all that. And, I'm going to try to mix in, produced content with the live streams. I have a lot of fun doing it. So it's a real good time. So let's see here. So now we got to the point where I can talk a little bit about opening up action figures. And if you came just for the pizza and you're not interested, I'm not going to be insulted if you leave. So that we're all good there. I have 2 more Masters of the Universe figures to open from the first wave. We've so far opened up He-Man, Skeletor. Last week we did Evelyn and Beastman. Today I have one character that from the original, and then probably the most controversial character we're going to open here. So first we got Man-at-Arms, who is Weapons Master and Royal Advisor. Man-at-Arms assists He-Man in the battle against evil. So he is basically the person who outfits He-Man's, all of He-Man's, what do you call it, weapons. So he is very cool. And we're going to open. Now, the funny part about this is, if you know me and my brother is in the live chat, I don't like opening up my figures, but I have committed to the He-Man and Masters of the Universe and WWE Masters of the Universe that these are getting opened and we're going to play with them. So we got our little mini comic, which is really cool. We got our Man-at-Arms on card. We're going to open him up. So the one thing about Man-at-Arms, I never had him as a kid, which I think is kind of cool. Now finally have a lot of these characters that I didn't get to collect when I was a kid. I say collect like as if I still have any of them. My parents admitted to throwing them out back in the day. So here is Man-at-Arms. He's got his plastic still attached. You got Leslie in the chat, I think, gassing me up, instantly devaluing it. I have wrestling figures in the box from the 90s, which is actually a funny story. Somebody I know actually is friends with a creative director for a toy company for a lot of the toys I have, which is kind of fun. So here's our Man-at-Arms. Focus. And he comes with... It's funny, he's Man-at-Arms. He's the weapons guy. I think he only comes with one weapon. Which kind of sucks. It kind of sucks. I think he just comes with a mace. I got to also remember to buy a special scissor for this live stream, because I never remember to bring a scissor down for this. And after we open these 2 figures, I'm going to talk about the next week's worth of content and also next week's live stream, because I got some real fun stuff planned. I've been working really hard on editing before and after work. I've been grinding pretty hard lately, guys, to get content out, just because it's what you got to do if you're trying to grow on YouTube. The only way to grow on YouTube is to be consistent and post at least 2 times a week. All right, here we go. So I have completely devalued this figure, and I'm okay with it. These figures are not collector figures. These are figures that are designed for children, child's play. So he comes with 2 leg covers and just a mace. It's kind of disappointing. Man-at-Arms being the weapons master, you would think he would actually have more than one weapon. So there he is, Man-at-Arms. So that's Man-at-Arms. And then here it is, guys, the most controversial figure in He-Man and the Masters of the Universe right now, trending all over social media, Teela. And the reason why Teela is so controversial is because of the new Netflix show by Kevin Smith. It apparently is, not apparently, I watched it. It's focused not really around He-Man. He-Man actually, spoiler alert, He-Man actually disappears in the first episode. I'm not going to go too much farther into that. But the rest of the series focuses on Teela. And people don't like it. Got another mini comic. So for this wave, the mini comic was the same for all the characters, which is kind of a bummer because I remember in the original Masters of the Universe line, each character got its own thing. She's on her little card back. It's really fun collecting these with Noah because, I'll tell him we got one out for delivery. And he's like, oh, who is it? I'll tell him, oh, it's Scareglow, and he'll get really excited about it. It's really fun. That's one of the things I enjoy a lot as a dad is just seeing him get excited about stuff that would have excited me as a kid. It's fun to see him get excited about it. So we have Teela, and she just comes, I think, with two things. Man, they really tape these up. It's like a dolphin's butt. I'm sure after this stream, just because of the way I optimized the video, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate from people who are big supporters of Barstool. I think I got a little heated there. Hopefully in a reasonable way. I'm not trying to throw shade at the guy. I just think that the reviews are not useful. So she has her little snake staff and her little shield. And that's really cool. Now, when these figures came out, I was kind of stalking Walmart to get them before I started ordering them online, because these days you can't trust the stores to stock these toys. So I almost passed on her because my thing was she's so small, and compared to the other people, she just doesn't have the mass to make it worth the price. Kind of a stupid reasoning, but I came around on that. Let's get his legs go on there. So that's kind of cool. So that is our He-Man and the Masters of the Universe figure opening segment of the week. And this week we have Man-at-Arms and Teela. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, because I definitely didn't. I hate opening up figures because of this right here, the value. But honestly, I think the value, we're going to get the value out of these and playing with them. It's a kid's line. I keep telling myself that. If you're still here and you haven't hit like on the video, please do so. I will appreciate that. So for the next week's worth of content, I am super excited about this. Tomorrow night is the 100th food review on the channel. So my derryX Dines playlist now will have 100 videos in it. For video number 100, we've pulled out all the stops. I went to the most controversial burger restaurant in my area. That's the title of the video. I have licensed music. I had a little licensed music in the last chicken sandwich video as well. Which one was that? Was it Stewart's? Yeah, Stewart's chicken sandwich, which I posted earlier this week. So that's tomorrow night. derryX 100. You guys, I need everybody to turn up for that tomorrow night. It is the longest video in a while, the longest review video in a while. It was crazy. I can't even, what ended up happening in that video, I could have never in a million years expected to happen. So you guys, you're not going to want to miss that. I'm going to post it tomorrow night sometime around 6:30, 7 o'clock. So make sure you're there for that. And then what do we got next week? Next week we got another chicken sandwich review that I'm working on, but that'll probably be Monday. I'm trying to get everything ready to and lined up to get that out for you guys on Monday. And then next week's live, we're going to talk about the chicken sandwich reviews and kind of what I'm trying to do with those, as well as the places I plan on reviewing. And we're going to talk about some of the sandwiches that we had. And I want to hear from you guys. Where are the good chicken sandwiches? Because I never had Popeye's chicken sandwich. I'm literally 3 years late to the game. And I think that trying all these chicken sandwiches, fast food chicken sandwiches, I think that once we get to Popeyes, I think a lot of it's going to end up making a lot of sense as far as the comparison. So that's kind of what that's all building to. The reason for that, for doing the chicken sandwiches, what I started to notice is that as far as views and impressions, so the way YouTube works, and I'm getting into a little bit of the tech, I don't mean to do that. I just want to tell you guys, when a topic gets views outside of your core, YouTube promotes it more. So what I'm trying to do is build a library with something that's a little bit more consumable. So there's shorter videos in my car, not a whole lot of editing. They're easy for me to put together. So you have that to look forward to. And then we'll have the main reviews. I still have I have 4 videos to edit for Philadelphia still. And I have 3 videos for Outer Banks to edit still. So I'm going to pepper those in as well. Next week live, we're talking about chicken sandwiches, and then I'll have an OBX Outer Banks review next Friday night. So that is the next weekend content. Let's see what else we got here. If you missed last week's one chip challenge, you need to go watch that. So what I'm going to do is actually for the replay, it'll be up on the screen. If not, link down. It's probably in your suggestion down below under this video. I know it was in mine earlier, but just go to the channel and just look up that one chip challenge video. I can't believe my reaction to it, and I can't believe what happened as far as what happened here. It was just insane. Thanks a lot for spending the night with me here, guys. I'm going to end it right there. You guys have an awesome week, and don't forget to come back tomorrow night for that 100th review. It is insane. Have a good night, guys.